Welcome back to the F123 driver career. Today, we're going to do 100% race distance, not 95% like we have done in the last two, where we've had back-to-back DNFs from unfortunate, really unfortunate engine failures in some regard. So far this season, DNF Bahrain, when my teammate put me in a wall, a P16, a P15, a P15, a P18, a P13, a DNF. But crucially, for this one, loads of upgrades to the car. 5 completed, some major, some minor, doing this to the performance index. Alfa Romeo are really good now. Shooting up above Williams, Alpine and Haas to become the 6th fastest team on paper. How that translates to on tarmac, we shall wait and see. We're still considerably behind Aston Martin and then everybody else. And we're basically level with Haas. But we're certainly faster than Alpine, Williams and AlphaTauri on paper. So this should be, hopefully, surely, our first points of the season. Qualifying is wet. Very wet, then dry. The race is dry, then wet, then dry again. Oh, good! This is going to be a really intriguing one at Canada, but thankfully practice is sunny. Hooray! I'd rather it was the other way around. I don't mind rain in practice, but please, for the love of God, just give me dry quali and races for once. We've had such different conditions in a number of Grand Prix in a row now. Let's head to Canada. Let's hopefully have a positive result. Drop the video a like. Come and join me on Twitch and watch me stream these live. You can see all of the behind the scenes. But for now, we're going to concentrate on putting in the performance on track and hopefully, fingers crossed, points today, please. Double check that it's definitely changing everything I want it to change before we go in with broken stuff. Good. So into the next session and out of the next session because we've done everything already. And a decent resource point haul from practice, at least from me anyway. Valtteri slightly shy of 300. The quali practice program said P9 with old bits in the car. So I am anticipating, I am hoping for, although it is raining as we start qualifying, very hard indeed, I'm hoping for Q3. But don't know in the rain. Don't know. Right, okay. P1? P1? The hell? How am I a second and a half faster than anybody else? Inter's pole. What? What? I feel like Alex Albon all of a sudden. I see my settings. It's still on 103. But what? Where has that time come from? Or where is everybody else? We've got to make sure we time it right. Because if it starts to dry up, the times will plummet. But Pierre goes P2 with a 1:21.2. If I'm faster than the Alpine, we should certainly be good enough to get through to the next round of qualifying, shouldn't we? Give it another minute. Lots on outlaps now, but do I risk it? I'm going to risk it. I'm going to try and save tyres and hope that that 120.9 is enough to see us through. Oh, it's not going to be. Logan Sargent's done 19.6. The track has ramped up. It's dried up so much quicker than expected. It said it was going to be 91% rain for the entirety of the first session. It wasn't. We gambled. We failed. I will start the Canadian Grand Prix last. Well, we've no idea what the grid's going to look like here, to be completely honest. Carlos Sainz P1 and Checo P2 is how it starts at the front. It was dry, certainly by the end of the session in qualifying. If anyone else has penalties, that would be lovely. I'm curious to see where Bottas has put the car. P9. with the improvements we made, although Leclerc with a penalty, so that would have been Bottas P10. But still, it looks like Bottas made Q3. So the car definitely has pace. And logically from there, so should I. I'm going to have a lot of work to do from here.
Here we go. I know what you can do.
But
Don't let me down.
we can get it done. He reckons my fastest strategy is actually just a 2-stop, not a 3-stop. But of course, it is going to rain, we know, at some point between now and the middle of the race. So I'm tempted to start on hards, but the hards was a dog tyre in practice. So I think I'm probably going to start mediums, run them as long as possible, alter that, just do this. Because ultimately, we're going to be switching to an intermediate tyre before we get to the first stop, I would have thought. Because that weather module tends to move forward, doesn't it? Whether it rains hard enough to warrant dry weather tyres, I don't know. But certainly I could even go medium, soft, perhaps. I wonder if I could go medium, soft, and just move that back. I could go medium, soft, and be just as quick. So I've got this spare tyre sets now because we exited qualifying when we did. So that seems like the obvious thing to do. We'll go medium, soft, and see what the weather forecast says, basically. But that is going to be a pretty straightforward race for us from P20. We know exactly what we're going to do. We don't need to worry about fuel because it's going to rain, so we'll save some fuel there as well. All we need to do now is warm the tyres up and just perform well. And we should get points today, even starting P20.
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
There you go.
Okay, dry seem like the best tyre for now.
10 to 15 minutes for rain. Even though on the prediction thing, it showed us over halfway through the race, rain in 10 to 15 minutes. Which is only, well, probably about 10 to 15 laps, really, considering the lap time here is so low. So if we are switching to intermediate tyres from our dry weather tyres, it will be not that long into the race. But it might rain, but not be wet enough to warrant putting intermediates on for a little while into that rain. We may even be able to just push straight through the rain and stay on dry weather tyres. A lot of wheel spin off the line. Yuki's had a terrible start though. But I'm tucked in on the right hand side here, so there's not actually anywhere for me to go to take advantage of that. Let's just follow the leader at the moment through turns 1 and 2, and we're going to stay last. Maybe nip up the inside here of Logan, maybe. No, I bottled it. I backed out. Cool, that was closing quickly. And hopefully the fact that everyone is grouped so closely together will mean that they concertina up here. And Logan Sargent is trying to take advantage of that. He threw it up the inside of a couple. I've then followed suit.
All right, let's focus now for the rest of the race.
And we'll see if we can't make a position or two. Those on the soft tyres are obviously going to be quicker at times. If I'm brave, we might be able to make the occasional position here, there, and throughout. Tsunoda bottled that, just as I bottled the move on Logan Sargent earlier on. Just got to stay with. Just got to make the medium tyre work in our favour. Make it to the rain without having to pit. Okay, they went the back end. It's not going to do the tyres any good. Not going to do my race any good. Pick up the inside of Yuki again, take the position back. Thank you, Yuki. Back in P19. Yuki got on the power much quicker than I could there.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
It's fine. Not exactly the electric start I was hoping for, if I'm honest. But they are majorly on soft tyres in front. Rear tyres are going to be the ones that go first, that's for sure. They're very quick out of the chicane, which I'm struggling with at the minute. Alright, we'll play the pacing game then, shall we? Carlos Sainz is extending a gap out front, isn't he? Oh my god, it's the second time. Why does it do that? I must just be taking far too much curb.
And gap to the car in front is 1.7 seconds.
Someone's got to be struggling up here because the whole pack is coming back to me now. So someone must have damage somewhere, I think. Might be a Haas, might be a Ferrari. There's a Ferrari plummeting. You look at the mini-map, you can see that bright red dot of the Ferrari. A long way back from where it should be. Excuse me, Yuki. Hello.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
And Ferrari's past the Haas now, so maybe it's not got damage. I don't know, maybe he just had a moment, got swallowed. That's the raindrop. Just saw some raindrops. Here we go. Those soft runners are going to get lucky. The fact that the rain has come so early is actually really annoying. Because we started with a slower medium tyre purposefully. Because we thought the rain was going to come quite a way into the race. And it just hasn't.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Well done.
Might be able to start picking my way through soon. But not quite yet. Go for a move on, Kev. The old Jensen Button, Sebastian Vettel position.
Rain, then we think it's going to dry up.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, so it's not going to get much heavier than this at all. So it's going to be dry weather, dry tyre running throughout. How many stops are they planning on then?
Sargent ahead. Okay, so the gap to the car ahead, 0.8 seconds. Okay, they're on old softs. Their tyres are 11 laps old now. Okay, we think they've got 2 stops remaining. 2 stops remaining.
There's a yellow flag.
Last lap was a 1 minute 16.
Might be for the Ferrari.
Okay, so you gain
Ferrari retiring or just going into the pits? Not sure at the moment. Let's have a look. Ferrari is retiring. Not an engine blowout, just some sort of mechanical issue. That is going to be Charles Leclerc, I think it is. Charles Leclerc is out of the race here.
yellow flag.
That's a rip for the Ferrari. It's not necessarily a rip for our strategy, but it's certainly going to be an odd one now if we expect it to remain dry weather tyre throughout.
10.8 seconds.
The fact that Sargent is on a 2-stop, not a 3-stop. I'll ask about those behind. Says to me they're going to go soft, medium, or soft, soft, medium, or soft, medium, medium. Okay, but some are 3-stopping. Some are 2, some are 3. That's intriguing. Points still very much a possibility from here then. Fuel is actually going back up a little bit now. Might be an idea to try and save a little bit of fuel in this part of the race to then be able to go hell for leather for the rest of it. It's got to the point where it's starting to have that little rain rebounding off the surface look to the rain.
Okay, you're doing well out there. Keep it
Nobody's
up.
pitting yet though.
10 more minutes of rain. 10 minutes. Dry's definitely
Logan
seem like
very
the
early on the
fastest
brakes
tyre
there.
at the moment.
Ooh, he can have the position back. It actually registered as an illegal overtake anyway, so I was forced to give the position back, although I was going to anyway. Yeah, this is an intriguing one now, because the rain is only going to last for about 10 more minutes. No puddles are forming yet, but it is definitely the point where grip is at a premium in these dry weather tyres. And now you might see the occasional puddles start to form. And we are. There you go. We might be onto Inters. Oh! Yeah, spray. We might be on Inters, you know. This might be Inters this lap.
There's about 10 more minutes of this rain. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Really? Are dry's the best tyre for now, though? Look at it. Dries can't be the best tyre for now, surely. Nobody's in. It must just not be raining long enough. Oh, don't tell me you're now going to tell me to... You're not going to tell me to go on to Inters, aren't you? Just as we go past the pits, he tells me to go on to Inters. You could have done that about 4 seconds sooner, pal, and I'd have boxed straight away. DRS disabled now, there you go.
DRS will be offline, wait for further updates.
So the soft runners are going to luck out. And our decision to put the mediums on isn't going to work in our favour. So far, only P18.
Valtteri is in for his stop.
Valtteri will be out again before we get there, though, so there's no risk of a... Oh, Yuki's going again. Some having to go again because they're not wanting to double stack. I'm going to be able to come in behind my teammate because there was enough of a gap, and we are going to double stack, and I'm going to get away with it.
Okay,
we can make some positions here.
Stop, faster than we were expecting.
We've overtaken Sargent, who double stacked. We've overtaken Magnussen, Ricardo. Because it was just Tsunoda that was behind us, I'm sure. Because Tsunoda carried on, didn't he? So we've actually made 3 positions there. And should make 3 more. Those that decided not to double stack is going to come back to haunt them. Don't know what to go to next then. Probably softs. There's Ocon in the pits, Tsunoda in the pits. So we're up to P14 for the time being, but I am slower in the wet than we were in the dry. So the gap to Gasly's coming down, and the gaps behind are getting bigger, but Albon is holding position. Gasly's being held up by a Haas at the moment, which is bringing P11 very close to us. But then there's a big gap to presumably Lance Stroll in P10. The points are still quite a way away from us.
Okay,
Oh my god, Angry Ginger's brother, because all gingers are related. Thank you for the follow, host Jack. Wants me to go medium hard to the end. I am going to box. Well, I'm going to box for softs. I'm putting softs on. Valtteri's gone round again.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now
That's
enabled.
just worked in time for us
Come on. Perfect
to
job
jump,
from you and
hopefully,
the crew there, mate. We're delighted
some
with
around us. Lots of others have gone to mediums. So they're probably going to do that medium hard to the end. I'm going to take these softs as far as I can. Must remember we put them on lap 23. So everyone else will have 1 stop left now to the end, you imagine. But what's going to be faster for us? The medium hard that they're doing, or a soft medium soft that I imagine I'm probably going to run. If I can actually get some rear grip, that'd be lovely. That's Valtteri getting pulled along by the DRS of a McLaren. You can see how the gaps behind are growing and the gaps in front are getting smaller. But we need them to, because we're wanting to do an extra, or potentially, probably going to do an extra stop. At this stage, I'd have said...
Okay, this is good. You're catching the car ahead.
We might finish P11, but not in the points. Because that gap to the points is huge right now. Aston Martin is a long way away. There's a lunge on Pierre, but we made it work.
Nice move. Good
Another
job.
position. Try and use a bit of battery to stay within DRS of these two in front if I can. which I can't, annoyingly. Hulkenberg dragging Albon along at the minute. Trying not to use too much of my rear tyres at the moment. We're going about 2% a lap. Albon's going for it on Hulkenberg. On the outside into the final corner and gets the job done. Gasly's going to want to have a look at me, so I'm going to go defensive into turn 1. He's going to try and go all the way around the inside of 2 now. Who's gonna? No one. Neither of us. I was gonna say who's gonna blink first here. Neither of us did, but we were able to stay ahead of Gasly. Has cost us about a second or more to those in front, though. We're now well out of DRS range of Hulkenberg or Albon, but thankfully for us, Albon has pulled away significantly from Hulkenberg here. That Williams is very quick in Alex Albon's hands today. He's doing very well so far. I'm going to get taken down the straight, undoubtedly,
Okay, gap ahead is 2.1
by Gasly,
seconds.
unless I can get a phenomenal exit here, which I don't think I will. It's not bad, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. So say thank you to Joshua for subscribing for the very first time. Thank you, mate. I don't know, it might be enough to keep me there. Gasly's worried about Magnussen at the minute. They are closing on me at a rate of knots, but we'll stay ahead for now. If we can get them occupied with each other, I'll try and close the gap on Hulkenberg in front. It's really slow around the corners, but in the traction zones, he's lightning fast. I'm having to try and think about taking Hulkenberg whilst defending from Gasly, Magnussen and Tsunoda behind. Not very easy, that. For a minute. Tyres are about to hit the 25% on the rears as well. Alright, let's go for Nico. Go defensive, go defensive, go defensive. He's not. Position made. P12. Jeez. Bottas is P10 at the minute. Behind Lance Stroll.
So the gap to the car ahead,
23.2 seconds right now. That's what I have to overturn if I want to get a point today. 23.5 seconds. I'm going to be pitting in about 5 laps time for a set of medium tyres to try and take me to the end. I could put hards on and just try and undercut everyone else, because they're going to go medium hard. I'm trying to go soft medium. If I go hards next, then they'll definitely get me to the end, but I don't know if I'll undercut enough. I don't know whether to stop now and commit to a soft medium soft and try and just make up the ground, or whether my best bet is to just soft medium from 41 and try and make them last and see where we end up. Ultimately, it makes no difference to me finishing P11 or P12. It's either P10 or nothing. Valtteri has DRS on Lance Stroll in front, which is where the gap opens up like crazy down the straights. I think I'll put the mediums on 41, and we'll just see what the pace is like and see where we are when everyone pits for their hards, and then we can make a decision from there as to whether we try and take the mediums to the end, or whether at some point, if there's a change in proceedings, i.e. a safety car or a VSC or something, we then put the softs on and see if we can make it to the end from there. I don't know. I've got a fresh set of everything left though. Or do I still put hards on and then maybe go mediums if there's a middle of the race safety car?
We're approaching the pit window. and you're going to be on mediums.
It's either hards next to the end, mediums next to the end, or mediums next with a view to stopping again to put some softs on. The hard would give us the best options, but the slowest pace. The medium would give us decent pace and still 2 options, but one of which would lose us an entire pit stop's amount of time. So I don't know. I don't know what's for the best here. I can use your advice really if you are so inclined, chat. Either way, I need to go off these softs soon because they're early 30s at the rear now. Gasly still can't get past Hulkenberg though, so getting past him was actually quite important. I'm gonna get an undercut regardless of what I go to. So let's go to a hard. Well, the hard felt awful, but the mediums weren't lasting that long when we put them on, or when we started the race with them. Yes, we're a lot lighter now, but I still feel like I'm not sure whether mediums would get me to the end with any sort of real pace. I'll put the hards on, and then if there is a safety car or a VSC, then we can get a cheap stop or a free stop. Then we'll put the mediums or softs on depending on when that happens. So we'll pit next lap for hard tyres, 35% of the rear, when the majority of this track is either full throttle or traction zone. Just awful. One of the Aston Martins is in. That will presumably be Fernando Alonso as the lead Aston Martin. Yeah, it is. Look, Alonso's just popped up there. So Lance Stroll is the one currently dragging Bottas along with him. There was, when I asked the question in chat actually, or in the YouTube comment section previously, as to whether you think I should move mid-season or not, there was some call potentially to go to Aston Martin and take Lance Stroll's seat, as we've been outperforming him, or at least I need to double check, but you guys thought I'd been outperforming him in the Aston. Maybe get moved to an Aston Martin. Wait and see what you guys say when we get to that point, but I will put it to a vote before I definitively make a decision either way. But we've now been lapped, intriguingly, although obviously they all have a pit stop left to make. So, and we've got a decent gap behind us to the the two Mercedes. So those that are in front of me at the minute are going to have to let those 2 cars through, the Ferrari and the McLaren, whereas I don't. So they will lose time that I haven't had to lose. But I need to make sure that I can stay ahead of the Mercedes. I've also got to try and tease these hard tyres into life without taking too much longevity out of them, because these have got to take me to the end now, unless there's a safety car, in which case I will switch to mediums, or if it's right at the end I will switch to softs. But I imagine the majority of everyone else would also do the same. I do have a fresh set of softs and mediums to go to, depending on what time we decide to pit, if we decide to pit. 42.7.
42.7 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're in 9th place. And the time last lap was a 1:16.3.
That 42.7 is effectively what I've got to overturn to get a point today. Annoyingly, Albon is now getting dragged along by Fernando Alonso on fresh tyres as well. It's going to make P11 quite hard to come by as well. But we're definitely gaining time on those in front. But like I say, some of them it is going to be because they're letting the front runners through. Actually, no, we're gaining on Ocon and he's not moved over yet. It's not going to be too long before they start pitting for their hard tyres though, is it really? We can take ours to the end from here. They're going to take theirs to the end from not too far from here. Right, so I'm behind during the DRS detection point, but if I can take him around the hairpin as well, then we'll get DRS and already be in front of him and can close in on Yuki Tsunoda, who's right there in P17. That was good. Ocon has now let the Ferrari through, so he's now 5.5 seconds away, and one of the Hasses is in. Magnussen is the one that's in. You imagine that when Hülkenberg pits, he'll change his front wing, but we'll wait and see if it's causing him to lose a lot of pace, which it seemingly is. And they might not change it. P17 at the minute, aiming for at least a P11, if not hopefully a P10. In fact, no one's in the pits. Just means the undercut lasts for another lap.
Manage your tyres.
I am going to have to get past Yuki quite quickly here, otherwise I'm going to get held up. And he's gone immediately defensive for this next turn. And then he's really slow on the apex. This is costing me time. So being stuck behind Tsunoda for an extra lap is going to cost me 2 or 3 seconds by the end, for sure. Excuse me, Yuki.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
Right, that's Yuki dealt with. Ocon, Ricciardo, and Hülkenberg directly in front. This is where we might get stuck in a DRS train. It'll help if Ocon goes defensive. She's not done, so we'll make a lunge. We'll get that move done.
If you think you can get past, make use of the overtake button.
I am making use of the overtake button. Hi, Daniel. I'd like that position, please. Hopefully Hülkenberg boxes him in. Oh, look at the overspeed. He's so much faster than me in a straight line. Oh, that was good fun, though. Very close racing. And there's such an offset in the tyres, it's so hard to tell where people are going to brake, but we've done a lovely switchback on Daniel Ricciardo there. We'll definitely get Hülkenberg here as well. Getting some blue flags behind those. Max Verstappen's making his way through. So we need to kind of pull away a little bit here if we can. Look at that, 3 wide almost back there. As Hülkenberg was out of position as I overtook him. And they're now having to get out of the way for some front runners as well. There's loads of cars back there. So we are 23 from Albon, and he's yet to pit. This big undercut, and it is a big undercut, might help us out massively.
Gap to your teammate ahead is 38.3 seconds.
Although the gap to Valtteri is still 38. It came down by 4 seconds when we first put the tyres on, and then
Okay, clear.
when we've got stuck in traffic, we've now lost the opportunity to close in on Valtteri anymore.
Okay, you're creating some breathing space between you and the car behind by a few seconds a lap. Really good stuff.
So far, myself and Alonso are the only ones to stop for the tyre to take us to the end. I presume Alonso is also on a hard tyre. He's gone mediums. He's gone soft medium. So Fernando might actually be 3-stopping. He may go to softs again. Alternatively, he may well be able to take those mediums to the end. Verstappen has also gone soft medium. Stroll has also gone soft medium in P10 right now. I've gone soft hard. K-Mag has gone medium medium. I don't know if anyone stopped to change their wing at this stage, have they? No. So Hülkenberg, as far as we're aware, the only one currently carrying damage, but he still hasn't stopped to try and change for that damage. Hülkenberg's now going to have to let Max Verstappen through very shortly, though. He's going to have his teammate behind him too. That gap to Albon is coming down dramatically. There is the gap to Valtteri doing the same. It's coming down again now, but I lost maybe 4 laps full lap's worth of opportunity to undercut by just getting through the traffic. Traffic that Bottas won't have when he pits. He'll just come out in free air and we'll just be able to drive on. So at the moment, I'd say, again, a P11 is the most likely outcome for us here. Barring, of course, safety cars or VSCs. In a minute, I think P11 is where we'll be. I then obviously have to hold Alex Albon up when he eventually pits and changes tyres and has a tyre offset to me, same way I have a tyre offset to him. With the gap to Gasly at 8.5 now, we are about where we were when we pit. And it took 10 laps. Alex Albon's in the pits. He's probably going to come out in front of me, actually, because he didn't have to do the final chicane and doesn't have to do turn 1 either. Has gone to hards, as we expected. Gasly's in as well, and Albon is there, out in front of us. Bottas is out. The gap is 16 or so seconds right now. So that's what we have to close down, but now they have 10 lap younger tyres than me. So you imagine the gaps will stay as is, and P12 is perhaps where we'll finish, barring any safety cars, etc. If I can stay in the DRS of any of those front runners lapping us, then that would help. But I see those two gaps in front doing nothing but getting bigger between now and the end of the Grand Prix. The rain coming earlier than anticipated has meant that we haven't been able to put together the strategy we planned that we would do to get into the points. Sainz is going for the move for the lead. Carlos Sainz for Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz leads the Canadian Grand Prix, but will those tyres he's on take him to the end, you wonder? When did he put those softs on? Let's have a look at his lap times. Carlos Sainz put those softs on very recently. This is Sainz's Grand Prix to lose. He's got pace over Max, and will have so for the rest of the race. Checo's coming in P3, then it's Lando in P4. Fernando's in P5 now. Valtteri down to P10. As we continue to try and chase him. But he's still 22 seconds down the bloody road. I've got nothing on Kevin at the minute whatsoever. Give up the ghost in chasing points unless there's DNFs. Can we get a joint personal best? Or maybe a personal best if K-Mag has an issue, or if there's a retirement still. A safety car now to put on a set of softs would be lovely. But I don't think it's going to happen. So just as we were in Spain, it's myself versus Kevin Magnussen for the last few laps. This time, am I going to get a mechanical failure and not finish the race? Or will I finish the race behind Kevin? Or will Kevin just extend the gap on me and keep me at bay? Let's find out over the next 11 laps, because we're only going to 69 as we've been lapped. We flag behind for Lando Norris. I don't really want to give up any of my DRS here.
We're not racing the car behind. Let them pass when you can.
He's going to have to catch me up. I'm not letting him through yet. Within DRS. But look at the gap to Gasly. That's significantly coming down now as well. And he's already let the Red Bull through. And there's my bloody blue flag. Perez has got Gasly right behind him. Like, how am I even supposed to avoid... Well, like that, I guess. Being overtaken here.
Okay, gap ahead is 2.4 seconds.
That's when the battery's going to come in handy. My rear tyre's at 23% though, probably just not going to be able to cope with that of the Alpine. I'm going to get aggressive. But that's cost me DRS to Checo in front. I can't get a point for fastest lap. I can still get the fastest lap. It's pointless now. I hadn't needed to do it last lap if I was going to do it. Lost even more time to everybody in front by not pitting and letting Checo through, battling with Gasly. Pierre's having a look. Pierre's spinning me round. Cheers, Pierre. Not the first time you've hit the back of me this season, is it, Mr. Gasly? It's almost certainly killed any hope we had of getting K-Mag. Checo can't even catch K-Mag at the minute to lap him in the first place. Albon's now getting caught by Sergio Perez. Not Sergio Perez. By Carlos Sainz. So Albon's now going to start losing time to those trying to lap him, but it's not going to slow him down enough for us to get anywhere near.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
Going to the mediums, we wouldn't have taken them to the end. I would have been forced to stop again if we'd have tried to take the mediums to the end when we pit on lap 41. So chat's call to come to the hard tyre was the right one to try and take them to the end. Otherwise I would have absolutely have had to have stopped an extra time. Here's now going for it here instead. Blue flags.
Blue flag.
Who's that for? George Russell. Here come the Mercedes. He should just get me with DRS. It should be pretty comfortable for him. He's going that way. Okay. Again, just trying to lose as little time as possible during these blue flag situations. Now here comes the other Mercedes, but also here comes Pierre Gasly. And that's P14. Come on, Lewis. It's Lewis and Alonso. Now I'm going to have to try and pick Pierre Gasly's pocket when he lets them through as well. I'm not going to get lapped by the McLaren behind me. He's just not close enough for the end of the race. We've only got 3 more laps. 67, 68, 69. Gasly's gone really, really offline there. And he's still going to have to slow to let Alonso through here. We might be able to take P13 back again. Just got to follow Alonso through. Annoyingly, Gasly's got DRS. I'm not going to be able to follow Alonso through. No, Alonso's not going to get the position. Gasly's failing to let Alonso through. Tries to let him through the chicane. Oh, for fuck's sake. Gasly just could so easily have just let him go down the straight. For some reason, tries to let him go into the really tight chicane, clatters over the curb, and then stops in the middle of the track. I back off here. Gasly then does that, completely cuts the corner, and hits Alonso and basically stops in the middle of the track. Good AI. Good AI. Well done. I'll still back off here. We now... Oh, now Alonso's gone wide as well. Good AI. Good AI. Bloody hell. Right. We have been able to follow Alonso through, but we would have done that anyway, regardless of what happened with the AI. It's just that it couldn't do it cleanly the first time. Oh, what a farce. Sometimes the AI are so good and they can race you so clean and so hard, and other times they are just batshit insane and have the intelligence of a 4-year-old. That was a 4-year-old Pierre Gasly. It's ruined any chance Fernando had of catching the Mercedes as well. Fernando was maybe in with a shout of getting a P6. Not anymore. He was right with Lewis Hamilton. And Gasly being Gasly has meant that Alonso's lost maybe 7 or 8 seconds there. This is the penultimate lap. We're actually able to stick with Fernando here, so we'll be able to keep in his DRS, hopefully. And that'll help me defend to keep the P13 till the end of the race. If anyone wants to DNF in front, that would be lovely, because that would be a outright personal best finish for us this season. For the minute, it looks like it's going to be a joint PB. So Carlos Sainz is on his lead lap, final lap now. And I just noticed that Lando Norris has taken Max Verstappen for P2 as well. So Norris and Verstappen will be on the podium, but not in the order they were when they overtook me.
Right, we've got enough fuel.
Oh my God,
for 3 more
when
laps.
that popped up there, I had a real panic.
Blue flag, blue flag.
Popped up to tell me about my tyres. Right, I'm going to let Piastri go here. And hopefully still get DRS off the back of him for this straight to help me defend from Gasly. This has been such a chaotic defensive style race. Still within a second of Piastri, thankfully. Carlos Sainz does win the Grand Prix. Gasly's going to go for it here around the outside of the hairpin. I'm going to park it on the apex. Try and get a good enough exit. To then use some battery and the DRS to get a P13 finish. It is a personal best. It is albeit a joint personal best, but it is a personal best nonetheless. But unfortunately, it is not points. If the rain had held off a little bit longer, maybe we would have stood a chance of getting points. If we hadn't have had the error in qualifying, then we should have gotten, we almost certainly would have gotten points. I get driver of the day. Woo! Gives us faith, though, that moving forward, the car is competitive. Valtteri in the points again with a P10. So we know that points are available for us now moving forward, provided we have the weekend we should do. Valtteri a full minute behind Carlos Sainz, who won the race. Alex Albon ended up a lap down in the end. Valtteri, the last of the lead lap cars to cross the line. Here's a personal best finish in P13. And we're on to the Austrian Grand Prix next, which is a track that we very much enjoy, of course. 2,000 resource points that we can start utilising as well. Drag reduction is going to be important, with a 30% chance of failure. Doesn't fill me with much hope. Weight reduction is great, but I don't have enough resource points to do that now. Fuel efficiency, that's not much of an issue for us at the moment in this save, with us being in an Alfa Romeo, like a works team or a real-life team as opposed to a my team. In my team, fuel efficiency is horrendous, but in a driver career, when you're driving a real-life car, it's actually not that bad. I think what I'll do is I'll save my resource points to try and do the weight reduction on the front nose structure moving forward. We might get that weekly resources on the 26th. I get minus 500 driver acclaim. Oh, lovely. Now, do my weekly resources give me enough to let me get that upgrade? Aerodynamics. Okay, so the aero thing is now spec 2 in everywhere other than build time, which is great. Do I have the weight reduction? Yes, we do have enough to do the weight reduction. Lovely. That's not going to be done forever, though, not until beyond Hungary, but weight reduction in time for Belgium will be very good. It's the only one we've got on the work there. We've only got the one in the works there. Nothing. Oh, no, we do have something. ERS is in the works there. 4 days left on that. So the car is still getting better, but we now need to go and find out if Haas have overtaken us again. Haas have re-overtaken us on the way into the Austrian Grand Prix weekend, although we were very close with them. In the Constructors' Championship right now, we are above Haas considerably, almost 4 times their points tally, all of which scored by Valtteri Bottas so far. We'll go and quickly do the event to find out what weather we have in the next Grand Prix. 11 days. My contract expires after the Austrian Grand Prix, I believe, then. So, that's the standings. Lance Stroll has 17 points so far. Lance Stroll is arguably, potentially, the only man I could consider taking a seat off. Maybe Daniel Ricciardo. I could maybe take Danny Rick's seat. He's not scored any points so far this season. But he's got a P12, whereas I only have a P13. So when it comes to, and I'll mention this at the beginning of the next episode as well, when it comes to potential team swap midway through the season, do I go anywhere else or do we stay at Alfa Romeo? Bearing in mind that this Alfa Romeo car is now getting better and should have the chance of us to get points for the remainder of the season. The AlphaTauri is actually the worst car. I could maybe go to Williams and drive instead of Logan Sargent and alongside Alex Albon. Albon has a 11th, 3 P11s actually, 2 P12s and a P13. So the Williams is decent. So we could consider going to Williams in place of Logan Sargent. I'd absolutely deserve that seat. Alternatively, we could maybe go to AlphaTauri instead of Daniel Ricciardo, or because of the nature of the upgrades on the car right now, we could stay at Alfa Romeo for the rest of this season, and that would be us until the end of season 1, which is probably the more favourable one, I would imagine, with the majority of people. I'm going to go and do the autocross, and then we will see what the weather is like in Austria. So the race weekend in Austria is going to look how? It can definitely rain in Austria sometimes. It would be the first Grand Prix. Oh, the sprint is partially wet, but the race is dry. Quali is also in different conditions, but the full Grand Prix is at least dry. This is going to be nuts. So Haas are basically level with us. They're above us in the performance index, but we are effectively slap bang on with them and Alpine at the minute. I can't really justify going to Alpine ahead of either Ocon or Gasly because they've both had really good results so far this season. Ocon in the points on 4 occasions, Gasly in the points on 2 occasions, but better finishes with a P7 in Miami. So I can't really justify going there. K-Mag's been in the points on 1-2 occasions. Tsunoda on 1 occasion. Nico on 1 occasion. I think probably the most popular one will be stay where we are, but I will put it to a vote. Up next, though, will be the sprint weekend in Austria, but that is all for this YouTube video. Thumbs up, subscribe, follow on Twitch, subscribe to the second channel for Chelsea, and I'll see you later.